name's Jane Desotelle. I'm in Plattsburgh, New York, and I'm going to make a balsam wreath. It's simple to do at home. It's not rocket science, very easy. I use these wire frames, but you can use a coat hanger. Just bend it into a circle, and then you can take a branch that you've cut all the little needle parts off and wrap it around with wire to stabilize it, and that'll give you a good strong frame as well. So most of you have these in your closet. Easy to use, and even gives you a little hanger part to hang it with when you're done. So that works well. So I'm going to make a small size wreath right now. It'll be about 18 inches when we're done. So I like to use wire that's on a spool because you're going to pull it, it won't get all tangled. It just really works out well. So you can get them at a craft supply place. And then I overlap where I start. And I'll leave this hanging out into the middle. And then I use balsam fir. There's a lot of evergreens out there. I have a big cedar hedge here. There's pine. There's spruce. There's juniper. But I like to use the balsam. It smells great. The needles stay on the best. And it's soft. Spruce has short needles like this, but they're like needles. And they'll just chew your hands right up working with it. So I gather a little bunch together. So kind of clip them, clip the branches. So these are all little pieces. And you want to make a bundle, like so. And I hold it down here at the bottom. And I lay it against the wire ring. And just pull the spool around, make it good and tight, pull it tight. So I do it 3 times. And I kind of work my way down as I do that. Now this might be a little floppy, but we'll take care of that later, right at the very end. So here's a bunch of brush that I've clipped. So try to find something that, you want to keep your bundles about the same size. You don't want to get too long for these smaller. I just got done making a very large wreath, so I got to start thinking small here now. That one's too long right there. And you want to make them about the same size bundles. So what I can do too, especially with the single wire frame, is I will come into the middle of this bundle. So part of the bundle I kind of connect with the first bundle. And then I come down and do the second bundle down near the bottom. Get that good and tight. Like that. So this is way too big a piece. These hardware scissors are the best. They cut wire, they cut ribbon, they cut branches. I use them for pruning in the garden all the time. I use them a lot. There we go. And then these little pieces I'll save for making balsam pillows. I'll dry them. Making balsam pillows, you always want to dry your balsam first before you stuff it into a pillow, because then it might get moldy. So, place that there. Just work our way around. Even though it's all balsam, sometimes it looks a little different. Sometimes it's a little bluish green, sometimes it's a darker green. Sometimes the needles are curled up like this a lot, and sometimes they're very flat. And having a mixture of those just adds a little texture, I think, to your wreath, and makes it look nice. And if you're going to work with pine at all, there's different kinds of pines. And some of the needles are very sharp and pointy, like your Scotch pines, and some are very soft. So you definitely want to use a soft one because it's going to be around your hands a lot. Really tight. That's a little too long. So you can use your yardstick. You know, my small wreaths are going to be about 18 inches across, so half of 18 is 9. So you put the 9 in the middle, so I'm doing okay. This is a little shorter bunch, so there we go around. See how you can pull nice and tight here? It's very easy on the hands to do it like that. When you're making a lot of these wreaths, it's nice to know those little tricks. They make great gifts for your family. And as far as finding brush, you know, if you don't have access to woods where, you know, you're allowed to cut or on your own property, there's tree farms around. So any place that sells Christmas trees that they grow will usually sell bundles of brush. I can't tell you how many wreaths I've made. And I couldn't even make all of them myself. I was having neighbors help out and giving them some business years ago. And averaged about 300 a year. So, but with COVID, things have kind of shut down, and I'm only doing about 50 a year. Not that I couldn't sell more, I just can't make that many all by myself. So it's okay to have something like that sticking up, you can cover it up, but it just help make a base, you put it in the back. So pick up the ring with the bundle. A lot of my customers, the reason they like my wreaths is because they can keep them up sometimes till Easter. And especially if they're on the north side of the house or the garage or wherever you're hanging it, and the sun doesn't get right on it a lot, it'll even stay green that long. And in the large wreaths, I've had a few stories, and it happened to me myself right here on the garage. One year I went up in the spring to take down the wreath, and there was a bird's nest in it. So I just took the red ribbon off and I put on it was pink or purple ribbon for Easter. Just had to let it go. So you see we get a nice round shape, and look at that, 18, yippity-doo-dah. This is definitely a good smelling job, no doubt about that. So we're getting near where they join together. Almost done. So I'm going to make this last bundle a little taller. So it'll stretch, it's going to go underneath your first bundle. So we need a little more length to it. Let's see. So I'm going to lift up the first bundle that we did and tuck this in. And this one is really important to go up into the bundle because it's going to be a little longer than the others, and attach it. Maybe you can do it in two places. Attach it. And again. Now I'm going to take some from the first bundle and lay it over. So I'm going to attach these two bundles together with the wire. I think I'm going to put one more little piece up in there. Maybe two pieces. And up here on the top. Yeah, we're all the way around. Now I'll turn it over. So there's your ring. And now the trick is to find the wire that you left hanging on. I'll cut this one short. Don't cut it too short. If you cut it too short, then you're really stuck. You can always cut it shorter later. Let's see. There it is, got wrapped up. So there's the end that I left when I started. So now I'm going to twist these two together. And then I'm going to make a little loop. Just a nice circular loop there. And then I take one end and wrap it around the inside of the loop. This will make it stronger, so when the wreath is hanging and blowing in the wind, most people hang them outdoors. Sometimes people hang these indoors. And that's okay, it'll make your room smell great. And the nice thing about balsam is even if when it dries out, maybe it'll stay on. So there. So the wreath is done. And if you think it looks too full inside here, you got some things drooping down, you can always clip them out a little bit, open up the center a bit. Now you're ready to decorate. So red's probably the most common color. I sell a lot of plaid ones, just because you can't find plaid and nobody else sells plaid wreaths for some reason. I don't know why, but my customers really like them. The red, green, and gold plaid. So you gotta find where your hanger is. I like putting my bows at the top, but you don't have to. Some people put them on the bottom, some people put them on the side. So I'm gonna wrap it around to the back. Pull it tight and then go around a few times. Tuck the ends of your wire in to the brush. as you go. And then you can put pine cones on. Usually odd numbers work best. So for the small wreaths I do 3. And with the larger ones I do 5. And on the great big ones I'll use the long white pine cones, and that looks really nice. So somebody said, you know, how long does it take you to do everything for a wreath? And I go, well, it's hard to tell, because like in the summertime, there's some wild baby's breath that grows up here. So I'm collecting that. All summer long, if I find good pine cones, I'm collecting those. So it's hard to tell. On the red, I like to use high bush cranberries. And they're growing right out here in the back in my botanical sanctuary, I call it, the Plattsburgh Botanical Sanctuary, where I have wild foods and medicinal plants. And these are high bush cranberries. They grow in nice little bunches like this, and they stay on. They can freeze and thaw all winter long, and they still look nice on your wreath. My pine cones I have wired. So I just take the wire and wrap it underneath, pull it tight, give it a couple of turns, and then I'm ready to wrap my bundle around it. I'll put one on each side. Just get a couple pieces of branches. And 2 ends of wire. Give them a twist underneath there and tuck them in so they can't be seen. There. Baby's breath just adds a nice little touch to it. And this is the old-fashioned white variety. So I try to get about the same size bundles in each. Sometimes the wire gets away from you. Where is it? I'm going to start over, it's easier. There we go. You got to really have good feeling in the tips of your fingers to do this kind of work. I don't like working in a very warm place when I make these, because I don't want to dry out the balsam, but if it's too cold, your fingers get numb, and then you can't feel the ends of the wire when you're working with them. As soon as I'm done with this, I'll put it right back outside till my customer comes and picks it up. And a bunch of berries. Now these are natural berries, so sometimes they're like great big clumps like this, but that's kind of too big for a small wreath. And we'll find a couple little bunches. Yeah. Some bundles. Pull it tight and just give it a couple twists. Tuck the ends back in. Yeah. So there's a wreath for yourself, or makes a nice gift too.